Today on Crazy Carl Projects.
I stare into the sun.
But we are getting excellent footage. Some good lighting for a change.
Yeah, today, after all that work on the Subaru, we drove it a few times and it's randomly overheating again. And something I noticed today, I started to make sure the battery wasn't dead before setting up to do the head gasket test. And it ran for all of about 5 minutes. Temperature gauge hadn't even moved yet. Everything was cold still to the touch. And I had air release when I released that thing. Not a good sign. So this is going to verify whether or not we have exhaust leak. Although at this point, if we do, I'm less likely to think it's a head gasket and more likely to think it's a cracked coolant reservoir or coolant line, the passageway. There we go. I'll think of the right word eventually, maybe something similar. So the other fun thing was when I first started up, it was unhappy again. The engine was unhappy.
So the check engine light is back.
Yep. Helps if I put the key in.
Yeah, the keys usually help on older cars.
Well, it depends. If it's old enough, you don't need it. That's a real great sign. Maybe something else to keep air out. Oh, and with this setup, I ran back to the manifold intake, and I put a plug, and I plugged this too because last time we had a problem with it sucking coolant in from the coolant reservoir. So, solved all those problems. So it's bubbling good. It's bubbling, but it hasn't turned green or yellow yet. So get out the
Give
sun.
it a moment.
Oh yeah.
It looks like. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. If it doesn't turn yellow, then it may actually be with the heating, because every time it's done it, it's been cold and the heat was running. So and the heat quit right before it did it. So it's possible there's something wrong with the heating core and that end of the system. But I'm more inclined to think this block is done.
I'm more inclined to agree with you. While we're waiting on that, what about the trunk? It's been raining here quite a bit. And yeah. I know that's a problem people have. How good did our fix work on the trunk?
It worked. It worked here. It's not wet up here. But like I said, this seal probably needs replaced because a little water got in down here. Actually, I think it's coming in. If you can see, you look up there, those bolts are rusting. I think it's actually coming in from the spoiler. But the water is a little damp here, and really just here. It's a little damp right here.
Let me turn the light on.
Which this side is not. Yeah. This side wasn't rusted at all, so I don't know.
Yeah, that one, there's a little rust around that one.
That one there's not.
That one, a tiny amount.
But the only spot that's really wet is right here in this corner. And it's just a little bit.
And
but you can tell there's water down there. But it's just on this side. So I fixed everything but this side. So water's getting in right there. That little hole's where the water's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
Yeah, it's coming in from these holes. This one's got run line, that's got run line. That's supposed to come on the outside, but I guess it's coming around this gasket.
More than likely, yeah. So yeah. But the fix that we did here
did fix that. There's no water coming in up here anymore.
What kind of material was that?
That was Flex Seal. Clear Flex Seal.
Clear Flex Seal.
Not a sponsor, but I use it for everything.
Yes.
Just wait, I may be doing a wheel redo with the spray Flex Seal.
So instead of Vice Grip Garage, we're going to call ourselves Flex Seal Garage?
If they sponsor me, I will.
Somebody call Billy Mays Hayes, whatever that guy's name is.
Well, it sucked a little bit of coolant up, but it hasn't turned yellow yet, so I don't know.
What do you say there, boss man? Is it changing color?
No, but it sucks the coolant too when I do that. I'm trying to adjust the pressure so it.
Which this one we got off of Amazon.
At a time when, no, I think I bought this one at, I don't know if I got this off Amazon or I got it at one of the park chain stores. It was just what they had.
Yeah, it's basically what we could find that we could afford.
They didn't have one with a little pressure bulb you could use option.
Yeah. We had to jerry rig a pressure bulb last time. We are not of the snap-on tool variety. We are more of the Pittsburgh tool variety of the garage over here. As you can see, we are not on a lift at all.
See, it's still pulling in, but it's not turning yellow with the exhaust cap, so maybe it's not leaking. But it's pulling air somehow. Maybe it's a bad water pump.
What's temperature there, Boston?
Not up to engine temp yet. I've got to check engine light again. I know what that's going to be. One of them misfired because it misfired when I started it up. So it's going to have a misfire code. I felt it misfire. It's, I think, evened out a little bit. Might watch that as I give it a little bit more gas. There, it's stuck pulling again. I got a little bit. It's coolant, of course.
Yep.
I don't like this automatic vacuum. This is supposed to be easier, and it's not. It makes too much vacuum to have this one on there where there's no seal. And I haven't found where you can, it won't go down far enough to really control the pressure, so you get pressure constantly. So I've not liked this setup for what I have available for vacuum. This engine makes too much vacuum. Which I guess that's something good for it.
Yeah. Which it should be turning yellow. It's turning green now.
Because it's pulling coolant up.
Because it's sucking all the coolant out there.
But as you see in one of the earlier videos, it turned bright green when it got, or bright yellow green when it got coolant in it. You can see.
I should still have that footage. I'll kind of do a side by side.
Get out of the shade. You can see where it starts blue, it should get yellow. So it's not just green. You end up with coolant in it, so it's always got a bit of green to it, but you shouldn't have any blue left. And I still have blue in that. So far it's not showing any kind of head gasket leak. So what is your problem? It could have been air in the system. It may have had trapped air, and maybe that released it.
Could be.
You're not supposed to, but I'm going to read on and see what it does. But yeah, I tried it before with the other one and it just filled it up with coolant. So that didn't work. You also got to make sure, like I said, you got to disconnect the overflow and put a cap on it. Otherwise, you put coolant out of the overflow.
Yeah.
And air. apart. There shouldn't be that much vacuum on a coolant system. It collapsed the hose. Something's wrong. The good news is it's not a head gasket. And it's not the coolant sleeve like I thought it would be. It is something kooky because it shouldn't be able to do this. It completely sucked that hose closed.
I think it is because you disconnected this and you capped that off. It was trying to get more coolant and it didn't get more coolant.
Yeah, but it should have pulled, fluid out of there, and it didn't.
Now, that's true too.
That's okay. That's interesting. And it got up to, it's supposed to be at operating temperature, and it's still cold. And it's not spitting air, so I don't know. Now I'm really confused. Okay, tab. Did I have a screw? I didn't have a screw. I just have a tab. Pull. Push that in. That out. Maybe it was a trapped air bubble. Let's see if I can. You know, no, that ain't gonna work. Let's see. Let's try not to spill it everywhere.
Don't you love how it was like when you're concentrating on trying not to spill everything, your hands get extra shaky?
My hands are always shaky. What are you talking about extra?
Yeah, but it's all like you're trying to, it's like, it's a gentle pour. Oh no, I got Parkinson's.
Yeah, there's a hole back here for it to overflow and devent and stuff, so I'm doing that. Actually, I might be able to get away with having the cap on and doing that. Yeah, with the hose free. There you go. Nice little trick. They put that in a good spot to do this with it. So maybe it just didn't burp well.
Very well could have been. It just didn't burp well.
That may have been why it sucked so much air out. It finally burped it. Oops. Of course it would do that.
We saw nothing. And I definitely don't have it on video.
I'll wash it off.
So you think the head gasket is good now?
Maybe. Maybe the trick I did worked. I know that the new pulleys are noisy, even though they're new. All right, I'm gonna go get some water. It's taking a whole bunch of, maybe there was a trap, maybe the heater core was full of air and it was trapped.
Yeah, very well could have been. Very well could have been. Yeah, you turning on the heater, I think that might have done something there. Alrighty, well,
I'm gonna get some water and top this off, and then we'll try it again.
Yes. Okay, so we watered our engine.
Yep, and washed the coolant off and coolant out. So.
But if it does grow up by 2 cylinders, we'll let you know.
Let's see, that increases the problems by 1/3.
Yes, for this engine it probably would.
All right, so I got it. I topped it off. I think I've got the air out of this line. So we will do this again.
Yes. So now we get to see the setup.
And it's got a one-way valve in there, so it doesn't let the fluid go back, which is good. But okay.
Cool.
Stuff. It didn't take much of this, thankfully. Even though it doesn't take much of this, I've done so many of these tests at this point. This bottle's already about half gone. I've done a lot of head gasket tests in the last year.
Yep, and I got a feeling,
year and a half.
Got a feeling Rita's going to need a head gasket test.
Rita has an excuse. 250,000 miles and being from '89.
See, I'm hoping that she doesn't, because that would be so cool if it's like on the original engine. I will brag about that forever.
Okay. Now, wipe that hands off and then I'll start.
Whoa! I hope I got that on camera. We had a geyser.
I saw that.
I hope I got that on camera.
Cold cooling again. car perpetually covers everything. At least it's mostly water this time because it's on top.
Yeah. Haven't had a chance to blend yet. Y'all have seen this bit. We'll come back to you with an answer.
Remember, if you water your engine regularly, it may grow to a V8 eventually. In this case, it'll be a flat 8.
I don't think that's going to happen. I can safely assume that will probably not happen. I'm saying 95% sure because this is Crazy Carl Projects and stranger things have happened with us.
Try this again where it's not gonna...
Try it without the geyser. We're getting coolant again. Look at the geyser. I'm backing up. GoPro or not, I don't want to be covered.
No. All right, that's better off.
Yeah, I think getting coolant in the vacuum system will be a bad thing. What do you think? Is it sealed?
It's still not warm.
Yep. And we're saving the coolant to make sure it doesn't get out there so animals
Proper
can...
exposure, exposing of it properly, and I'll clean up what little bit drips.
Yeah.
Water it down so it won't be harmful.
Yes. They'll just get a nice buzz from it, I guess.
They shouldn't get much of anything from it. Now, I guess I'm going to try doing it this way. Put this on it, start it, so it doesn't geyser. And then pull that off and see what it does.
All right.
Don't do this at home, kids. That time that's just coolant, so that'll just go back in here. Try to get coolant down enough so I can put a little bit of pressure on it so I can pull a little air.
I remind you, the first time we did this test, we had these vacuum bulbs, which I don't know what that's at.
Yeah, I don't either. It did come with one. No, it didn't come with one. I had to use one off something else.
Yeah, it was off your Pittsburgh vacuum handle, I think.
And it, I think it broke. I think the bulb broke after that.
I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, we are now re-burping the system. If it doesn't overflow on us first. Look at our new fancy burping funnel. It's working. All right, well, we got good news and bad news.
Good news is it's not exhaust. It's not an exhaust leak into the cooling system. Bad news is it's something. Don't know what. Either there's a clog in the cooling system, which I'm starting to think, because the heat at best got lukewarm and these never got hot. This never got hot. The top of the radiator never got hot. But after we, oh shoot, it ran for an hour and a half. After an hour and a half sitting here idling and revving it up, and actually ran it for about 5 minutes at a higher, not high RPM, but at 3,000 RPM or so, where you'd be running in a higher gear, it finally heated up. It never overheated. And the crazy thing is, the engine's not hot, this isn't hot, so nothing's hot. But the fluid was getting, what fluid was circulating was getting hot, so it doesn't seem to be circulating. And even with the new pump, so maybe not, I don't know.
So
it was hard to get it to overheat though, so that means that it's, and even when it did, like I said, it could just be a bad sensor.
Yeah, so it's either we got a clog in the heater core, we got a clog in the radiator.
Actually, it's probably not the heater core, it's probably going to be the coolant feed down here, which is part of the cooling system. On the side of the engine, all the aluminum's super soft on.
Yeah. Or it's, like I said earlier, it's in this thing right here, or it's a temperature sensor. We got a clog at the temperature sensor. So we got something going on in one of those three areas and locations. We got decisions to make because it's also burning oil. So
well, that was copyright.
But yeah, but it wasn't for a second and a half, and it wasn't clear enough anyway. So
okay, well, anyway, there. But the weird thing on this is this line got extreme vacuum at one point. Hey, Kia started.
Yep.
It hadn't been started in months. It had extreme vacuum at one point.
To the point where it almost collapsed on itself.
Yeah, and then it had extreme pressure, so that's telling me that something's not circulating right. There shouldn't be that much separation between top and bottom, so.
Yeah, well, we got research to do and decisions to make on this vehicle. Go ahead and let us know. What do you think we should do? Brick on the accelerator and dump it off a cliff somewhere is within the realm of possibilities.
I haven't been able to get a hold of dynamite yet.
Yeah.
But in all truthfulness, I'm at the point where I'm back and forth on whether to run it till it blows, do some crazy stuff to it, kind of a Mad Max type build, just try to make it air cooled for a little while, see how that does. Since it quasi works now, because this engine block is trash.
Yeah, the block itself is trash. We have determined that.
Yeah, it's horrible. No telling how long it's going to last, even if I get everything working right.
Yeah.
To just scrap it, I've already got people that want some of the scrap metal off of this. I've got a place that wants to buy the body. I've got a place that wants to buy the exhaust, and I've got a place that wants to buy the engine block for scrap metal. It's not much money, but it's something. And don't worry, I'm not scrapping the transmission. I'm gonna sell that 5-speed transmission because it's low miles. It's still a very good transmission. I'd rather sell it to somebody that has an engine they want to do something with it, because it's solid enough that it'll be a good car for somebody. It's not all rusted out, but I'm at where I can't put any more money into it.
Yes. So we got decisions to make. We'll let you know right here. So, but on the good news, the trunk part held up.
Yep, on one little spot, and I could fix that, but I don't know if it's worth it.
Yes. So we have one crazy Carl project completed, and we got decisions to make on this.
Yep. Yeah. Well, this one, I fixed the head gasket.
You did. That's another Crazy Carl project completed.
Including this side with making sure it didn't blow, because it didn't blow. I figured it went, and it didn't. So there's no exhaust gas getting in there.
No. But
there's lots of oil blow by, but those rings were pretty bad, so that's not surprised.
Yeah, we're not spending money or time on that either.
No, because this block's not rebuildable.
Yeah, I have I have a bottle of AT 205 in there, the 505.
Why?
Scotty's
It burns
Bernie
enough
stuff.
oil already.
Scotty's Bernie stuff in there, and I was like, we could try that. No.
It already burns enough oil.
We don't need to burn anymore.
I've got a bunch of tubs of honey, the engine honey that I used to use in that old Jeep truck, because it had horrible blow by.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It got it up, hey, it got it up to where it was only using about a quart of oil for every 5 gallons of gas. It used to use 2 quarts of oil for every 5 gallons of gas.
That thing's about a 2 cycle. Anyway.
It also needs major engine work.
Yes. So.
Although the fun part is, I found, cleaning out the garage, I have found all the parts to get that truck running again. It's still gonna burn oil like mad. It still has no fuel tank. It still has a clutch that's rusted tight. But I can probably get that engine to run.
Yes.
Horribly, but it'll run.
Yeah, very horribly, but it will run. All right, well.
That'll be it, and well, that's it for this time.
Okay.
So, like, share, subscribe, and until next time, have a good one.